something to everybody here?
Well, first of all, it's a great pleasure to be here. And as I said already several times in the past, that it is great to be in Sao Paulo again. And it is such a beautiful city. I mean, and Brazil is definitely one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and I've been all over the world. So it's always a great pleasure to come back to this great, great place with great weather, and great sceneries, beautiful people, wonderful people. I always get received with open arms here. And so this is now, I think, the 7th time that we've had the Arnold Classic Sports and Fitness Festival here. And it has become more and more successful yesterday and 2 days ago. And today, these are record numbers that we've had. As I've said yesterday, you know, we're having like 85,000 people coming through, watching the show and all the different activities and the vendors. And to have yesterday the Arnold Classic bodybuilding competition be so successful, it's not only because the Brazilian bodybuilders are really coming on strong now. It's wonderful to watch that. But also we have had so many spectators here with a totally filled auditorium. But then we had thousands of people that were overflow crowd on the side that were standing there basically, you know, for 2.5 hours watching the show, standing up. So it just shows you the enthusiasm that is here. So it was really extraordinary to watch this whole thing and to be part of this and to inspire everyone to come together and to have 40 different sports with 12,000 athletes participating in these 3 days. So I was so happy because that's what the whole promotion of fitness is all about.
To start, so tell us what motivates you to continue this true sport crusade through this world and the event and the World Ranch, which became the Arnold Classic.
Well, first of all, I want to say also a big thank you to Ana Paula and to Philippe, who are the organizers of this event, and with their hardworking people around them, and then also the volunteers and the officials then in the various different sports that have brought the different sports here to this venue. So I want to say thank you to them. But when I became a bodybuilding champion many years ago, before you were born, I can tell you that, you know, it was all more about how can I get the biggest body, how can I get the most muscular body, how can I become the best and all that, the best of all times. But then at one point you realize that now you have to turn this whole thing around, and now you have to not just lift the weight, but you have to lift the whole sport. And so I felt like it was my mission, and I was really created to put in this position to go and to promote the sport of bodybuilding and also to promote health and fitness and exercise and resistance training with the weights and machines and all this throughout the whole world. And that's what I've done. So after I retired from bodybuilding, I went and I wrote 6 books on fitness, and I have done endless amount of videos on training. We did Pumping Iron, the documentary, and we did the book Pumping Iron, and all of those things in order to promote, you know, training for people to get off the couch and to do something, to exercise and to go out and do something. And so the Arnold Classic Sports and Fitness Festival is part of this fitness crusade around the world. That's why we have it in all 6 continents. And then we have it in North America, South America, Australia, and South Africa, and in Asia, Europe. We have it all over the place. And so it has been really successful. And this way, now with the social media especially, we can reach out and reach millions of people. And each time we have an event like that, it inspires millions of more people to go and exercise. And that's what it's all about, is to inspire people and to make everyone train.
Well, this was something that I saw yesterday. I was at your event, and I've been part of it for many years now. And yesterday I saw bodybuilders, many athletes, people competing, but I saw people that were there for the first time doing exactly what you said, coming out of the couch, moving, trying to get a better life, a better lifestyle, and that is what you inspire us. So what would be the message that you want to leave first for our athletes here in Brazil, the Brazilian athletes, and also for all the professionals, for professional health, as the trainers, doctors, nutritionists?
Well, I think that it was very clear yesterday that Brazilian bodybuilders, for instance, are coming on very strong. I mean, I've never, I've competed, from 1965 to 1975, and I've never really seen any Brazilian bodybuilders during that time to be on the world stage. So now, all of a sudden, you go forward, 4 decades, and now you see the most extraordinary bodybuilders from Brazil. Yesterday we saw it. I mean, really unbelievable bodies. I mean, Rafael, the one gentleman that was placed second, I mean, he could have won. He could have won. I mean, and if the judges would have, for instance, put more weight on posing, he could have won the competition. If the judging puts more weight on size and muscularity and all this, maybe the other guy should have won. So it could have gone either way, but for a Brazilian bodybuilder to be on that level, I was like blown away. And there were others, not just him, there were others that were just also extraordinary. So this, I think, is fantastic. And I think it's what it means is basically is that Brazil has always been a country that has loved sports. And we have seen the amount of great athletes that they had produced in the history, not just in soccer, but also in other sports. And so they are very sports oriented. That's why they had the Olympic Games here, and the World Championships here, and the World Soccer Games here, and all this stuff comes to Brazil. Because it's really, I mean, you just walk down the beach and you can see how people are training everywhere, doing push-ups and chin-ups, and they're staying in shape and those. So it's really a great country. I love coming here because it gives me so much energy coming to Brazil,
Yeah. Very good. You said about Brazilian soccer, but if we go back in time, at age 13 in Austria, you had your first meeting with a barbell when your trainer took you guys to the gym, a local gym. At age 14, you chose bodybuilding instead football, instead soccer as a career. Then you started a big training time to go for Mr. Austria, Kurt Moreau, who invited you to train at his gym. At that time, you also frequently went to local movie theaters to see bodybuilding idols such as Fred Bark, Steve Reeves, and Johnny, forgive me if I said it wrong, Wesley Miller? Wes Miller, thank you. I heard somebody say that, thank you. On big screen, what kind of transition in your life those athletes being responsible for you?
Well, I was always very athletic, and I grew up very athletic. And I played soccer, like you said, I participated in track and field and in ice curling in the winter and in the winter sports. But when I went into the weight room in the soccer stadium in Graz, in my hometown, and I saw the guys lifting, I just was so in awe of the strongman lifting. Then somehow something flipped in my mind and said, you want to be not the fastest soccer player or the guys with the most tricks and technique, you want to be the strongest guy. And so I just fell in love with the weightlifting and started weightlifting. And in the beginning it was the idea to strengthen the legs for soccer. But then all of a sudden I got just so into it and so passionate about lifting that I gave up soccer and I started lifting, day and night. I started lifting like 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, so much so that my mother was very concerned about my health because she thought that I was overdoing it. And then she was also concerned about me putting bodybuilding pictures all over my bedroom of men.
It was not usual for a boy at that time.
It was not usual that she sees all this men on my wall with oiled up bodies and half naked. And so she even called a doctor, and our house doctor, and she had him come to our house, and she said, look at this wall, I don't know where I went wrong with this man, this boy. But all his friends have pictures of from Playboy magazines and of women that they idolize. And my son is idolizing just men.
Different pictures.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, he made it clear to her. So this has nothing to do with sexuality or anything like this. He said this is just that young people, you know, have their idols and they admire them. And he obviously is into sports, his son, so don't worry about anything.
Be proud of it.
So yeah, exactly. So my mother was worried, but the doctor set her straight. So that was fine. But she was still concerned about me coming home at lunchtime, doing 500 sit-ups on a sit-up board, doing 500 push-ups, and then quickly eating my lunch and going back to school and stuff like that. So she was concerned, but I became a fanatic. And so I think that the weightlifters in the 1961 World Championships in weightlifting in Vienna, Yuri Vlasov and people like that, they had such an impression on me when I watched these guys lift these heavy weights. And then I watched some bodybuilding competitions, and that had such an impression on me. And then I watched the Hercules movies, like you said. I watched Steve Reeves, and I watched Reg Park, and you know, all those guys that were always sitting in the movies. And they inspired me also. So you know, it was like really good. And I think this is the reason why I'm sitting here today. Because they inspired me, and I saw what it did to me, and how it fulfilled my life, and how it made all my dreams come true. So I want to do the same thing now to millions of other people out there, that to inspire them, and to let them know that they should train hard, they should set a goal, they should have a clear vision of where they want to go in life. They should not listen to the naysayers, because there will be a lot of people always around that would say it's impossible, no, can't be done. I heard this my whole life. When I started training, people say this is impossible. Why are you doing this bodybuilding and weightlifting as an Austrian? This is American sports, forget it. And when I said I want to go to America, they said forget it, there's enough people over there. You know, why would they wait for you? And when I ran for governor, I remember they said, forget it, this is impossible. You have to first run for mayor or for some lower position. And so my whole life I always heard it's impossible. So I just want to tell everybody, don't listen. The no's and it can't be done, it's impossible. All of this stuff, ignore it. Because the important thing is, because like I said, I've heard it all my life. I remember when I wanted to go into the movie business, and I said, after my bodybuilding career, I weighed 250 pounds, and I said to myself, now, wow, I'm ready to play Hercules in movies. So I went to an agent and I said, I want to get in the movies, I want to be a leading man. And he laughed. And then studio executives laughed. Managers laughed. Everyone in Hollywood laughed. And they said, Arnold, first of all, you weigh 250 pounds. You know, this kind of a body was in 20 years ago when they did Hercules movies. We're not making any more Hercules movies. There's the new idols are Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino and you know, a sex symbol like Woody Allen. I said to myself, these are all little guys, right? I said, oh my God, what has happened?
Changed.
So yeah, things
Changed a lot.
Changed a lot, exactly. But anyway, I didn't listen. I said to myself, they have a valid point. Yes, those are the big stars of the day in the 70s, but that doesn't mean that I cannot be a star. And I was idolizing Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson. And they were up there on that ladder. I said to myself, that ladder looks pretty empty. I think there's room for me up there. And so I analyzed basically what I did in bodybuilding, which was I worked out 5 hours a day. The same as if I now do the same thing and work and the acting for 5 hours. You know, take English lessons, take speech lessons, voice lessons, accent removal lessons, acting lessons, stunt lessons, and all of this stuff. If I work on that, I have to be able to get in there. And sure enough, you know, we did one project came along after the next. There were small projects, and then all of a sudden I landed the role of Conan the Barbarian.
I saw that.
In the national movie, a studio movie, and it was starring in it. And when Conan the Barbarian came out, he was #1 in the box office. And that's when everything changed, because all of a sudden now people said if we wouldn't have had Schwarzenegger in Conan, we would have had to build one. That's what the director said. So therefore my body was the right body for the time. And then when I did Terminator, Jim Cameron said that if we wouldn't have had Schwarzenegger, it wouldn't have worked, because the Terminator talks like a machine. And he says Arnold naturally talks like a machine. So I don't know if I should have taken it as a compliment or as an insult. I don't know. But the bottom line is that it was great, because now they verified that without my body they couldn't have done Conan, and without my accent they couldn't have done Terminator. So therefore, those obstacles, they used to call obstacles, now became an asset. And this is what it is in life. So that's why I say don't listen to the naysayers. You just have to have your clear vision, and you go after that, and you, in a very disciplined way, work hard to get there.
At 66, you had the opportunity to meet your childhood idol, Red Park, who became your friend and also your mentor. Training in 67, you won the title for the first time, becoming the youngest ever Mr. Universe at age 20. After that, you won 3 more times on the road. What kind of memories do you have from those times?
Well, I tell you that when I was in London at the Mr. Universe contest in 1967, and I won, it was the most unbelievable experience, because here I was looking at these magazines of Reg Park and Steve Reeves and Bill Pearl and Jack Dellinger, George Eiferman, and all these bodybuilding champions. And I kept looking through the magazines, and I said, wow, can you believe this? The Mr. Universe, look at, they're holding the Mr. Universe trophy. So I had this dream that I'm gonna be there, but you never know. So there I was, that was the youngest competitor. And with the age of 20, I win and I become the youngest Mr. Universe ever. So that was a mind-blowing experience. When I walked out of the theater after I won, it was the first time where I saw hundreds of people waiting there for my autograph. I didn't even know what an autograph was. I had no idea, because I grew up in a little town in Austria, so I didn't know any of this stuff. So they were asking
Imagine that they
me to
would
sign
have the
something.
cell phone for selfies at that time.
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
it was like, you know, they asked me to sign something and give me autograph from that. And I didn't speak English either at that point. So it was like really wild that they wanted my signature. And so, and they were like, you know, pulling on me and you know, screaming outside, Arnold, 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 and all this stuff. So this was the first time I heard any of this. And so I felt when I went back to the hotel that this may work, my plan and my dream. And so it was kind of like really a tremendous, a profound impact. And it inspired me then to go all out, and then to go for the second Mr. Universe title, and for the third, and for the fourth, and then I won 5 times the Mr. Universe contest, and Mr. World, and then I competed in the Mr. Olympia, which was the biggest crown, you know, in America. And you had to beat this guy, Sergio Liver, who was the fantastic bodybuilder. And then the first time he beat me, and then the second time I came back, I beat him twice that year. And from then on, I was just, you know, kind of really taking over the bodybuilding sport. So it was really a fantastic experience. And what is more important than anything is that you learn such unbelievable lessons along the way.
Yes.
Well, like for instance, that one, as I already mentioned, is don't listen to the naysayers. but that I felt that, okay, this is a really perfect example. I had a very clear vision of this moment. And this moment became actually a reality. The vision became a reality. And I think that what happens is when you have a clear vision and a goal, it makes it so much fun to work towards that goal. Because so many people in the world, they work, but they don't really do what they enjoy. In America, they did a poll a while back, and they said like 75% of the people don't enjoy their job. Now imagine kind of what a downer this must be, that you go to work every day, but you don't enjoy what you're doing. And so this is why it's so important to pick a goal that you really enjoy, and then the joy of struggling to get there is so much more fun. People always said when they walked into the gym, is everyone has a sour face in the gym. Everyone looks kind of like, oh God, I have to do another 500 sets, 500 reps of sit-ups, so oh my God, I have to do another squat and another bench press. And I always kind of like couldn't wait. And I was looking forward to do another set and another rep, because I knew that every set and every rep, and every weight that I lifted would get me one step closer to the score. So I was enthusiastic. I couldn't wait to do the next set, whereas they were kind of upset that they had to do the next set. So I think this is a different attitude when you have a goal. So this is why I say to people, I learned this in bodybuilding, have a goal. And this particular idea I've carried on with my movie career. I had a goal of being a leading man, and I saw it very clearly in front of me. And the same thing was when I ran for governor. All of the things that I've done in life, I always had a very clear vision about that. So that's another thing that you learn. But the most important thing that you learn is that life is not just victories. Life is also defeats. You know, as you go along the way, you will fail. And there were many competitions, bodybuilding competitions along the way that I failed, but I got up. And so you learn in sport that it's not about, you know, who fails is a failure. No, the person that stays down is a failure. But the person that fails is not a failure, because if you get up again, then you continue on moving forward. So never ever worry about being a failure. You will fail along the way, we will have problems along the way, but you always get up and you dust yourself off and you continue marching forward. And so this is another thing that I learned, is you know, there's nothing wrong with failing, because if you're afraid to fail, then you will cut yourself short, because you're always afraid to create big goals. You know, because you just want to make instrumental goals so that you don't fail. But if you're not afraid to fail, then you make big goals and you go for it. Yes, you may fail, but you get up again and march forward. And I failed in my political career. I remember we lost elections and we lost initiatives that we wanted to put in front of the people. And then we came back again and we won. In bodybuilding, I've lost bodybuilding competitions. In weightlifting, I lost weightlifting competitions. I mean, I think that Michael Jordan one of them said it best. He said they did like 50,000, he missed 50,000 shots. So that was 50,000 times a failure? No. So, you know, he was the greatest basketball player of all times. But I mean, he said, you know, he missed so many shots, 50,000 shots. He, you know, missed the most crucial shot during the playoff periods like 200 times. And all of this stuff, he was listing all the stuff where he failed. He became the greatest basketball player. So it teaches us in sports very quickly, failures are normal. This is part of it. Most people don't talk about failures. They always talk about their victories. But I think it's important to stress, especially to young people and people that they're struggling, that it's okay to fail. I think the key thing is that you're tough. You get up right away again, dust yourself off and move forward.
Good.